4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Greetings, fellow barbarians. It is I, Alan Odinson, and this is the Barbarian Lounge podcast. I want to thank you guys and gals for joining me this evening. It is late night. I am still wired up from an amazing day, and I figured I wanted to do a podcast. I wanted to get in here, get behind the mic, get my mitocon fueled in my system. I wanted to bring you some thoughts that I have this evening. So let's get a little bit of housekeeping out of the way to start with. First off, our website is thebarbarianlounge.com. Go there. Don't just listen to me say it. Go there right now. Go there. Go there, check it out, see what we got. We got some articles up there. Got a new article up there about, I talked about some of the SJWs who are actively working with Syrian forces, and you definitely may want to check that out because these little snowflakes are starting to, let's just say they're starting to harden and temper themselves a bit to where perhaps they might be an even more dangerous opponent in the future. So check that article out. It's by my good buddy Brandon Turbyville, so check it out there. Also, I urge you to check out our shop. We've got a lot of different items in the shop right now. Our thug cords are extremely popular. Go there, get one, help support the show, get you a nice little covert self-defense item in there. So thug cords are not just for choking out somebody you don't like. You can also wear it as a nice decorative piece of jewelry. Also, I urge you to check out our donate button. That donate button, if you click on that, that will bring you to a couple options that you can use to help support the show. One of those being a one-time PayPal donation, where you can donate whatever it is you want to donate. $1, $2, $3, $5, a kidney, whatever it wants to be, just send it here as long as I can actually trade it in and get a few coin out of it. I need to keep this treasure chest filled so I can keep this show rolling. Contrary to popular belief, podcasting is not a wise career choice. It has to be something that you love doing. And I like to be able to add upgrades to this show. I got a few upgrades already, and I just want to keep it going. I'm in the market right now for a new computer system because this dinosaur that I'm running on just may crap out on me at any moment. So any little bit helps. You'll also find another option there where you can become a member by clicking on the Patreon link. If you click on the Patreon link, it'll take you to our Patreon page. That's patreon.com/thebarbarianlounge. You can go there and become a member on our Patreon site. Now, there's several perks you'll get as a member. One of those being you get all of our shows early. Sometimes it's a couple days. Sometimes it might be a week or two. That's just how I do it. Those guys who are willing to put a little bit of skin in the game, actually, to put a little money towards this show and sign up to be a recurring member, those people get priority in my book, so they get the shows first. So if you can't wait for the Barbarian Lounge, go there. That's one of the perks. The other big perk, which makes this a win-win situation for you, is you get exclusive content there, including 4 exclusive shows only available to our members. If you're not a member, you will never get to hear them. I will never upload them anywhere else. There's 30 plus. I think we're up to about 35 or 36 shows on there that are members only. And I talk about a lot of stuff. I try and keep it on an educational level. Sometimes it's just me kind of bouncing ideas off. But I'm trying to stay focused on my format and keep it on an educational basis. Obviously, if there's a topic that members want to hear, I gladly do that for them as well. So check it out. Go there. Be a member. Become a member on patreon.com/thebarbarianlounge. Also, you can catch the Barbarian Lounge on iTunes, Stitcher, and UCY.TV Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's a live chat that goes on during the show, and you can keep up with a lot of the fans of the show, and also, you can talk about the content that I'm talking about here. So you meet some pretty cool people on there. Also, you can support our sponsors, OdinsonArchery.com. Traditional bows made from non-traditional materials. Everything archery, traditional archery related that you need, you can find there, and you don't have to break the bank. Everybody thinks that in order to get into the world of archery, you got to spend all this money and hundreds of dollars here and $500 there. Not true. Odinson Archery is the affordable choice, and everything is handmade, custom made to your order. There's a lot of awesome stuff on OdinsonArchery.com. Go there, check it out, help support the show. Our other sponsor, which I mentioned earlier, Mitacon, MitaconUSA.com. Check them out. Talk to my boy Ben. I'm going to read this here in my nice little commercial voice. Mitacon with a proper diet supports the cell's fastest, most effective absorption of natural nutrients in each 250 milliliter bottle and sustains the body's mitochondrial generation of usable energy, key to producing ATP, the energy-rich fuel the body needs to achieve peak athletic strength, performance, endurance, and recovery. MitaconUSA.com. There you go. That's my wonderful commercial voice, and I kind of come up with that little ad thing myself, so, they wanted me to mention some of the stuff on the products on the show, and I'm telling you, I love Mitacon. I got my glass full right here. Got it in my trusty cup here, and I will be sipping on it throughout the show. Great for focus, great for recovery. Man, I've upped my lifting and martial arts regimen, and I have been wide open. If I'm not teaching, I'm working on other projects, and it is, like I tell people all the time, I burn the candle at both ends, and the wax is even melting in the middle. So I'm wide open 24/7, up early in the morning, staying up late at night, couple hours of sleep, and I'm back at the fight again. That is just how I roll, because I am that dedicated to what I do. All right, I think that's all of the housekeeping out of the way. Let's get to the meat and potatoes here. My little Mitacon sip there. So, on the format of my show, I've been kind of keeping things on a topic-based program lately. Since the beginning, every show has been about a topic. And I got to thinking about it, and I wanted to change things up a bit. I like to try new things every now and then. People contact me all the time. You guys don't know, man. My phone, from the time I get up to the time I go to bed, it's like my messenger's going off, emails coming in, text messages. I mean, it's wide open all day long. You would not believe it, man. My wife says, tell those people it's my time now. Turn your phone off, because I constantly got people asking me about this situation that's happening in the world, this thing. Do you think this is going to happen? What do you think this means? All this stuff like that. And I figured that I'm going to try for a little while on this format to give a little bit of insight into a lot of the things that's been going on for the week here. I may end up doing more than one show a week. If that is the case, well, you'll get just more content. Members, it's not going to change for you. I told you I charge you no more than for 8 shows a month, and $8 a month was what it comes up to. If you donate the minimum amount of $1, obviously you can do $2, $3, $5, whatever. But that's going to stay the same for you. You'll still get them, but you will not be charged for them. I stay to my word on that. So I want to talk about a lot of the shit that's going on right now. Also, I'll talk about a little bit of local things, because some of the things I'm going to get into is going to relate to culture. And if you've been listening to the show for the past year and a half or so, I think that's about how long I've been on. A lot of these things that I'm talking about, you're going to find that it's stuff that I've discussed in topic shows in the past. So let's get into some of the meat and potatoes. Right now, the thought that's on everyone's mind right now. What is the thought that's on everyone's mind right now? Yes, the thought that's on everyone's mind right now. Nuclear war. Yes, everyone right now is freaking out about impending doom at any moment, because North Korea is going to strike out of nowhere like the mongoose and just attack us all, right? That's the big fear that everyone's talking about. Are we gonna inching towards nuclear war? I have discussed at length on the show that I don't know exactly what sort of nuclear war we would be having with North Korea. I mean, let's be honest. What happens? Well, let me rephrase that, because I got a few articles here that may even challenge that notion that I had. But I've always been of the mindset that, if North Korea decides to launch, right now they're supposedly coming up with a plan to attack Guam. If you don't know where Guam is, Jesus fucking Christ, you need to do a little bit of work. But they're looking to supposedly coming up with plans to attack Guam. And I'm of the mindset that, let's just say for some reason that North Korea, who I'm pretty sure that their nuclear program is powered by bottle rockets and nice little, they got a nice little Coke bottle over there. They load their supposed nuclear missile in, which probably they're confused. It's probably something like an M80 strapped to a bottle rocket, but who knows? Let's just say that somehow the country that can barely figure out how to keep the lights on, let's just say for somehow they decide to launch this missile and actually can hit Guam. Let's just say that happens. They got all this money for all these nuclear warheads and these tests and stuff like that, but it's they can barely keep the lights on over there, and their people are perpetually poor. Even though you'll hear sympathizers for North Korea, you'll hear them say, "Oh, well, the West has done them so horrible, and that's why everything's so bad over there." It's like, so you mean to tell me that rather than taking care of their people, they spend all this other money on their military advancements? Yeah, that sounds like a noble system right there. You'll be amazed at how many North Korea sympathizers I hear. It's absolutely insane to me. I hear it a lot amongst the white nationalist movements, and it's funny to me because they're like, well, all nationalists need to stick together. And let's look at that. So I'm like, so if there was a nationalist group that said, we need to start killing all the white people in order to be a free nation. Let's just say that there was a nationalist group that did that. Are you saying now that, all nationalist groups, we should support all nationalists and everything? And that kind of gets a little fucked up, doesn't it? So, I think it's absolutely asinine to start looking at the beacon of freedom to be North Korea. But I'm telling you, you hear this shit sometimes. It absolutely cracks me up. But I'm of the opinion that just say they were able to strike Guam. Let's say this did happen. What's the next thing that's going to happen to them? The whole place is going to be a sheet of glass. I mean, it is going to be it's going to probably look about the same, to be honest with you, just with a lot less buildings and people walking around. I mean, that's the reality of this thing. What exactly is the end game here that they're looking at? In what world does it end in any other way than you completely and utterly destroyed? Unless there's some ace in the hole that we don't know about. Maybe there's some kind of, what's the game that came out years ago, Homefront, which was eerily accurate about the death of Kim Jong-il. Strangely accurate, predicted the date and everything. It's weird. But that North Korea had some sort of like EMP device or something that disabled the U.S. and all these other countries joined them and blah, blah. Maybe that's what happens. I don't know. But it's really, really strange, because I saw an article today where China is actually saying that they are basically supporting, I'm going to see if I can pull the article up. They're basically looking to support the, North Korea in this issue, it's really strange. I'm going to pull it up real quick. Yeah. So the article says China should stay neutral. Says that Chinese officials said that they should stay neutral, but if the United States attacks first and tries to overthrow North Korea's government, China will stop them. A Chinese state-run newspaper said on Friday. So it's kind of that's a big fucking deal. China, North Korea's most important ally and trading partner, has reiterated calls for calm during the current crisis. It has expressed frustration with both Pyongyang's repeated nuclear and missile tests and the behavior from South Korea and the United States that it sees as escalating tensions. Escalating tensions. So explain this to me. If you got a guy that says constantly, it's like, look, man, when I get a gun, I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to blow your fucking head off. And it's like, what? Say what? The guy's like, yeah, man, I'm trying to get a gun, and if I get a gun, I'm coming over there and I'm going to blow your head off, man. I'm going to kill you and your whole family. And then a couple days later, he calls you again. He says, hey, guess what? I got a gun. I finally got a gun, and any day now, I'm going to come over there and I'm going to fuck you up. What should your response be to that? What's the response? Do you just go, well, I guess I'll just, I'll see what happens. Maybe he'll come over, maybe he won't. I don't really know. Or do you do something about it in whatever form that may be? I'll let you use your imagination of that. Maybe it's just call the cops. Maybe that's a good call. And that way they'll know where you live at already when they come to take the report after you've been shot in the face. I mean, what exactly do you expect the United States to do when you've got an individual who's armed with a weapon, possibly multiple weapons of mass destruction, saying that they are going to attack you? Just wait around and let them attack first, right? Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You attack first, then we'll retaliate. If you're in a fight, which punch do you want to have? The first one or the last one? Or let's say the first punch or the second punch. Which punch do you want to have? Because guess what? That first punch may be the last punch of the fight. Maybe be the last one you remember. I don't see an issue with a preemptive response to an immediate threat. And I would say, and I'm certainly not your fucking neocon person who's beating the war drums all the time, wanting to see people go to war. But here's the thing. If you've got somebody who is directly threatening you, showing you their gun, walking around your front yard, waving the gun around, what do you do? And, it's funny listening to the left whine and complain, Trump shouldn't be telling them that he's going to rain down fire and hell upon them like never seen before. He shouldn't have this tough talk. It's going to escalate things. Really? Or is it going to let them know that our president is not someone who's to be fucked with? Right? If he just sat back like Obama and sat on his hands and pussyfooted around, that's exactly what a bully's looking for. This little pudgy Asian Eric Cartman looking son of a bitch is sitting over there armed with nuclear warheads. He's never had any sort of power in his life. He wants to feel like a big man. He's basically equivalent to some gangbanger on the street finding a shitty ass high point. If you don't know what high point is, oh my God. They're basically a good paperweight. He's basically found a high point. Now he thinks, because he has a gun, be it a shitty gun, he thinks that even though he has a gun, now he has the ability to fight a SWAT team. Because that's basically what North Korea is looking at if they attack the United States. Now the issue with China, that's a very interesting prospect. That is an escalation. That is a fight we don't really want. Because especially when you combine that with all the issues going on with Russia and China have been working together for a long time. If either one of those, especially China, decides, you know what, the hell with the dollar's the U.S. World Reserve currency, right? As the world reserve currency, we're going to get rid of the dollar, right? Let me tell you something, folks. The American economy goes kaput overnight, for the most part. You probably got a little bit of time, but you're going to see basically a nice little Weimar Republic here. So it's a pretty big deal that's going on. It was funny to me listening to I didn't really listen to it, but I was checking out the little article. I mean, at this point, they're taking it so seriously that you've got Guam issuing orders out, like issuing papers like, this is what you do in case of attack. I was looking at some of these. It's pretty funny. It was like, make a list of potential concrete shelters near your home, workplace, or school. That's actually pretty good. That's actually a decent little bit of knowledge there, because you definitely you're going to need thick concrete, possibly layers of it, or some really thick lead. Finding concrete is going to be much easier because there's going to be some fallout coming. Preferably underground, right? Do not look at the flash or fireball. It can blind you. Yeah, you definitely don't want to do that. It's kind of like looking at a sun of, like standing on the sun or something, right? Lie flat I love this one. Lie flat on the ground and cover your head. The explosion is some distance away. It could take 30 seconds or more for the blast wave to hit. So basically you'll have another 30 seconds before you get evaporated by the blast that's coming. So that's pretty cool. It's kind of always remind me of when you were in like elementary school in the tornado drill. everybody line the hallway, get on your knees and put your arms behind your head, as if your little feeble, third grade hands are going to protect you from a beam falling from the sky or something like that, right? It's basically the old cry and die, isn't it? Sitting and waiting for death. That's the idea. A nuclear blast hits something like that. It's gonna be devastating, to levels that we've never seen. And I feel very sorry for the people in Guam. But understand this, people of Guam. If for some reason North Korea does decide to do something very, very foolish, they will be leveled. And people go, oh, I don't want to see innocent women and people and men and die. Let me tell you something. As far as I'm concerned, what better way to get an opinion across? Well, what a better way to let them know that you're not to be fucked with. That we will, what are we exactly supposed to do? Oh, well, a lot of people are going to die. Yeah, that's kind of what war is. War is when people die. And you can't, if we could just pick all the bad people out and kill all the bad people, that would be great. But the problem is lines become blurred and, hey, there's collateral damage. It happens. It's always happened. And sometimes, the house has to be cleaned. It's kind of like if you've got a house infested with roaches. You can't just find the bad roaches. You got to kill all the roaches, unfortunately. It's a bad thing. People are like, oh my God, I can't believe Odinson's calling North Koreans roaches. Well, it's like, I'm sorry, guys. You were trapped in a regime and you were born into that lifestyle. But for the most part, you've got these people who are over there worshiping this mad little man over there. And, what's the plan? Those that magically live through the blast, well, we'll see what we can do for you. Other than that, sorry guys. As I've said before, this is not the podcast where you find sympathy, okay? Because let's be honest, if I really break it down to the nitty gritty, I don't know any North Koreans. I don't know anybody there. I don't know anybody from Guam, but guess what? They're a piece of the nation that I'm a part of, and the fact of the matter is that's a lot closer to me than North Koreans. So, yeah, if I understand the problem with allowing the nation to be attacked with no recourse or retaliation. I understand that tremendously. So, as far as I'm concerned, we need to make some omelets. So, how's that going to play out, right? How are you going to pull that off? The other thing I saw today was with Trump talking about the issue with Venezuela. And if you guys been listening to my show, I've been talking about Venezuela for a while. I mean, it's a nice little storyboard of what a collapse looks like. It's that socialist utopia that the left tells us is so wonderful. All you have to do is just look right there to glorious Venezuela, where they're eating the animals in the zoo because people are starving to death. They have Mad Max-like teams of motorcycles and vehicles on the road robbing food trucks. Military coups. President's going mad. He's kidnapping people in the night, black bagging people, riots in the street. Oh, it's glorious. Just a glorious socialist utopia. And I saw today where Trump was talking about a lot of different options. Of course, CNN run it as Trump says military intervention necessary in Venezuela. And he actually just said that it was an option that was on the table, which, there's the president has a lot of different options as far as how to handle things. But, at the core of my being, I kind of fall into the same categories I do with North Korea, with Venezuela, right? Well, I guess I could say my issue with North Korea would be a lot closer to home because unlike Venezuela, North Korea is actually going, hey, we're going to attack you. But Venezuela? I don't know any Venezuelans. Fuck Venezuela. Right? Who cares? When Donald Trump was elected to this office, he ran on a platform of Make America Great Again and America First. That's the big one to me, America First. Who gives a shit about Venezuela? All those people are suffering. There are people in America suffering. There are veterans living on the street. We have a massive opioid epidemic that I think could be solved with a nice bullet for every local heroin dealer that you see. That's my solution. It's not the best solution, probably not the legal solution, but it seems like I want to go with the who's the guy Duarte or something like that over there in the Philippines. That's my solution for that. I'd like to see that guy clean up the streets. But as far as it goes with Venezuela, they voted in and they wanted this socialist utopia. By God, it's yours. And you get all of the wonders and glories that come with it. Don't be sending Americans down there for some sort of humanitarian aid where our tax dollars are going to be flooded down there to some faraway land. I heard Trump saying today that, oh, they're our neighbors. The fuck they're our neighbors? Our neighbors? No, they're not our neighbors. Their neighbors are Mexico. Let them go to Mexico for aid. Oh, wait a second. They're not going to find it there either. This is the thing. This is the thing the leftists don't understand. When you vote in the demon, when the demon gets out of the box, when you've released it from its circle of protection, when you've released this demon into the world, you have to live with it. It is yours. So enjoy it. Enjoy your socialist utopia. Enjoy your military coup. Enjoy your rebel forces flying a helicopter and attacking the buildings down there. Enjoy your lack of food. Enjoy your lack of water. Enjoy the death and destruction that comes with it. You wanted it. You got it. That's my thoughts on it. America first. I give a shit about Americans. Venezuela? Fuck Venezuela. That one gets me pissed off, guys. Jesus. Let me take some Mitacon here. Shameless plug, MitaconUSA.com. Alright, so the next thing, this is pretty funny. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it because it's not really worthy of a whole lot of time. Chelsea Handler. Chelsea Handler, if you don't know who that is, she's some sort of court jester that I think is supposed to be a comedian, an actual literal court jester. Is actually, she called today for a military coup. Military coup to overthrow Donald Trump today. And that's absolutely hilarious because you have to ask yourself, with all of your court jester knowledge, I'm sure that there's a lot of knowledge that goes into being a professional court jester. I have to wonder just how much she's researched how wonderful military coups tend to turn out. Just to let you know, you may think you want the military to take over, but I can tell you a lot of military men who are going to go, oh, you don't want that, ma'am. You don't want that shit. Because there's only a few things the military is good at. Running government, not so much. Because if you look at the way a military is run, now picture that as running an entire nation. Of people who are not going to be cool with that. And here's another little news flash for you, Miss Handler. Most of those military men that you're wanting to have a coup, most of those men actually voted for Donald Trump. Do you really and truly think that the military wanted Hillary Clinton in power? Is that what you think? You sincerely believe that they wanted Hillary Clinton in power? Perhaps you do. Perhaps that's the magical fantasy world that you live in. But I'm here to tell you, see, I actually talk to people in the military. I know people in the military. And I can assure you, the number of people that voted for Hillary Clinton is minimal. Because right now, everybody's talking about possible wars, if Hillary Clinton was in, our boys would be over there fighting right now. Not just North Korea. They would probably be fighting Russia because that was the massive scapegoat they were pushing beforehand. But yeah, she called for a military coup on Twitter on Friday. I love how these people use Twitter as a nice little thing. The Netflix host, who has been outspoken in her dislike for President Trump, suggested he be removed by the military. Let me tell you something, lady. I tell you what I would support. I would support the military coming to your house and physically removing you. I would be okay with that. I would sign that nice little change.org petition. I would gladly do that. Isn't that what it's called? Change.org? I don't sign those fucking things anyway. But if I saw that one, I would sign that one. She said, to all the generals surrounding our idiot in chief, the longer you wait to remove him, the longer you're... Now understand, she does not have the ability to actually type out the word you. She has to use a capital U. And when she writes your, it's you-are. Your. So the longer you wait to remove him, the longer your name will appear negatively in history. That's a joke. Let me tell you something, lady. When you finally decide to fall over dead, and it doesn't look like she's far away. It says she's only 42, but Jesus Christ, I don't know what kind of life this lady's had, but she looks like the crypt keeper in a blonde wig. It's terrible. Just look up a picture of this goon. So let me tell you something, lady. When you decide to actually fall over, when you decide to fall over finally and give up this pathetic life that you've lived here, let me just tell you, your name will be forgotten in history. No one will remember you as what? You lived a legacy of a laughingstock. That's what you made your living as, is a laughingstock. Hey, congratulations. Hey, but you got a Netflix show. Good for you. Good for you. You know, I mean, it's amazing to me. I love to hear these little court jesters get on there and believe they can talk about something other than actually their job description, right? Your job description is to make me laugh. Make me laugh, clown. If I don't hear anything funny from you, you shut up. Oh my God. These people, they amuse the hell out of me. So the other big article I saw, pretty much going along with the same thing of this Chelsea handler. You know, we've made it to a point in history, and trust me, I'm not some Trumpkin that's out there going, oh, Donald Trump does no wrong. No, I've been pretty critical because I'm an America First guy. And I've talked a lot about the empire and the fall of the empire, and I understand this and that, but I also understand that, you know, in a strange way, we are still, until something different happens, we're all pretty much in a symbiotic relationship with this empire. And if the empire gets destroyed and gets trampled on, and the foundations of what made it great is destroyed, we have to go down with the ship. That's the bad part about being on a massive ship like this. If all the wing nuts actually decide to sink it, I'm stuck on this ship too, and I got to ride it to the bottom with these idiots. So, you know, we're at a point right now in history that is just baffling, because some of the things that have been said are beyond rationale for the most part. So CNN has a guy on there. He's supposed to be some sort of counter-terrorist analyst of some sort. He's a CNN counterterrorism analyst by the name, and he's also a former member of the CIA by the name of Philip Mudd. Yes, that's his real name. I'm not making that up. Philip Mudd. So he said on the air, when CNN was talking about Trump's thing about when Vladimir Putin actually kicked out the U.S. diplomats, Trump had made the joke about it yeah, well, you know, we're looking to drop payroll a little bit anyway. You know, ever being the feeder, right? If you don't understand the concept of being a feeder, go back and listen to some past shows. Ever being the feeder, he's not going to let him get one up on him. He's like, yeah, we'll just cut back on payroll. So this guy, I'm going to read it to you. It says, Mudd subsequently clarified that he meant the phrase metaphorically, but the comments have caused alarm amongst Trump supporters. This guy said straight up, he said, let me give you the bottom line. As a former government official, the government's going to kill this guy, said Mudd. He defends Vladimir Putin. There are State Departments and CIA officers coming home, and at Langley and Foggy Bottom CIA are saying, this is how you defend us. So, I can tell you, if you watch the clip's available online, just look it up. You can find the clip online, and this guy has a sense of anger and disdain in his voice. He's basically saying, right there on the air, hey, guess what? What he's doing right now, the government's going to kill this guy. I mean, that is absolutely unprecedented talk. It's amazing to me how many people from all walks of life, whether it be government officials, people in the entertainment industry, newscasters, all these people, private citizens, go right on the air and openly declare that they want the president dead. What sort of world are we living in? If that is not a sign of the time coming, I don't know what is. You've got a guy on CNN up there talking about how we need to kill the president. I mean, let that sink in for a little bit and just really think about where we've come to. Where we've come to in this world. I mean, because it's a constant thing. It's a constant thing we're hearing where they're talking about killing an official there. And I've heard from, talking about military people, I've heard military people say, look, if there's any sort of assassination on Donald Trump, there's going to be blood. Lots of blood. And that's got to make the deep state nervous. But, you know, you have to wonder, you look through the history. You look through the history of these attacks like this, and you've never heard this. Now, I will admit, this is also coming from CNN, so you could take it for what it's worth. I mean, if you were to ask Donald Trump himself, I mean, what would he say about CNN?
You are fake news.
Yeah, that's right, Donald. Absolutely. They are absolutely 100% fake news. But at the same time, this is not a fake individual. This is a high-level guy. This is a high-level guy who has connections into the CIA. So obviously there's some talk around the water cooler, right? And he's saying, state's going to kill this guy. The government's going to kill this guy. Absolutely unprecedented, and a real sign of the time as to where we're going. We are entering an age where Caesar is assassinated on a stage for all to see. Rather than Caesar being killed in private and being betrayed by his closest, we're at a point right now where the world is going to watch Caesar die. And they're going to tell you it's going to happen long before they ever even pull a trigger, pull a blade, or drop a little bit of cyanide in his wine. It's insane. But I'm telling you right now, if these guys make that move, I just have a feeling it's not going to end pretty. In some way, shape, or form. There's a lot of people who are not going to take that lying down. Because, you know, what's the next option? He goes down, they put in Pence. Pence is a pretty good backup because I don't think they want Mike Pence any more than they do Donald Trump. You know, the idea is to get rid of him just to thumb the nose at the American people. It's absolutely insane times we live in, my friend. So, right now, I'm going to shift away from Trump a little bit because, those are like the top things that are going on right now. But another big thing that's going on right now that I've been following very closely, if you've been listening to the show, is the Unite the Right rally that's happening right now in actually it starts tomorrow in Charlottesville, Virginia. A lot of the guys are already there, and they've been going through a lot of shit. They've had a lot of skullduggery going on with the trying to remove their permit and all this stuff. They've been catching a lot of hell from the mayor. Airbnb was removing or basically refusing their reservations. Like they had their reservations in already, and they were finding out who they were. Because whenever an event like this happens, man, Antifa hits the ground running. They hit the ground very fast, and they automatically start trying to destroy any sort of work these people are going to be able to do there in that town. And I know that people will probably hear this and go, oh, well, we don't want a bunch of Nazis in there. And it's like, no, there's... Guys, I hate to tell you, but as far as the left's concerned, everybody's a Nazi. If you're not a leftist and you have free speech and free thought and all these things like that, guess what? You're a Nazi. Okay? Most of these people will fall into the category of a white nationalist. And for the most part, I agree with some of the things they say, and some of it not so much. I've always said that the whole idea of a Unite the Right rally, I understand the cause behind it. I understand it tremendously. But when I look at the people that are there, there's such a wide variety of ideologies. I mean, there's very few people that are speaking that have, like, if for some reason they were to win the war, like that whole alliance was to win the war, I really don't know what type of system will be set up after that. Because, I mean, there's so many different mindsets there, and I think there's a lot more cult of personality than there is really any sort of strong ideological view that's actually going to change anything. But at the end of the day, it is about free speech, and you're not going to find people there talking about killing. They're not all going to be there talking about killing Mexicans and killing black folks and all these other people. You're not going to hear that shit there. As opposed to going to some sort of Black Lives Matter rally or a Black Panther rally or something of that nature, where you're going to hear constantly when they're talking about we need to start killing some white folks, as the broken and beaten, loving, rainbow warrior white people are going to be standing there as they're saying let's kill some white folks. They're going to be standing there going, just clapping right along, not realizing that, just to let you know, guys, if you look in the mirror, you're one of those people they're talking about killing. See, there's a problem. When you got groups that start talking about removing another person from this world, i.e. putting a bullet in their face or mass exterminations, guess what? There's a problem with that, okay? And I think that, you know, the whole idea of identity politics, everything right now is based on identity politics. But we also have to understand that at the same time, most of these people there, their enemy, for the most part, is the communist. That is what all of them are there against. No matter what their ideology is, or what their solution is, they're all against the communists. They're against these cultural Marxists, these Antifa. They are the enemy of these people. And these people are communists at their core, at their root. And I would say that most of the people that are at the Unite the Right rally probably would fall under the category of fascist. Obviously not all of them, but a good many of them. And we have to understand there's a reason this is happening. You know, while communism has elements of fascism in them, but understand fascism arose as a response to communism. The same as we're seeing now. We're seeing history repeat. I can't stand to hear people talk about communists there's like, oh, these communists are the new, or they say that the Antifa are the new Nazis. And it's like, no. The Antifa are the Stalinists. Okay? We didn't want Stalinists and we didn't want Nazis at the time. So it's like you got to get your terminology right. When things start getting skewed and start getting screwed up, that's where the whole thing starts changing. Okay? You know, they've already had issues right now, and I would say that most people probably listening to this show are against Antifa and against the Communist Party and the cultural Marxism. If you're not, turn it off. I don't want you listening anyway, because you are not one of us. Plain and simple. That's pretty much how it goes. If you support Antifa and you support the ideals of communism, you're not welcome here. The lounge is closed to you. If you look on the front door, you will see the sign there that says so. So read that on your way out. You know, the speakers and stuff they're going to have there, like I said, there's a lot of guys that I disagree with. There's some guys I sort of agree with. Some guys I like a lot. Augustus Invictus is going to be there. My homeboy, he's going to be there. Richard Spencer's going to be there. Spencer, man, he's kind of off the wagon, man, or off the rails. He talks some weird shit sometimes. Heimbach's going to be there, Matt Heimbach. Heimbach's a nice guy, an educated gentleman. I do not agree with him on a lot of things, particularly North Korea. But he's a good guy. I understand what he's trying to do. There's going to be a lot of people there. Chris Cantwell's going to be there. Cantwell's a wild man. Chris Cantwell's actually already gotten in trouble. The Antifa tried to frame them for saying he was waving a gun around the Walmart parking lot up there. And they called the cops, and, you know, Virginia, where it's at, it's open carry state. And Cantwell had his pistol in his holster, and they were saying he was waving it around. Luckily, Cantwell, ever so intelligent and know how they play the game, had a body camera on him, was actually able to show the cop exactly what happens. So every time he gets out in public, bam, body camera goes on, and people get to see what's going on. So very wise, Mr. Cantwell, very wise. Applaud to you and the Radical Agenda. So, yeah, you know, I've been saying for a while, if you listen to if you're a member, you have probably heard my episode on the militant Marxist and the dangers that I see possibly arising at this event. And I'm not going to share those over the open air. If you want to be a member, you can find out what I'm talking about. And I hope I'm wrong about every single bit of it. And understand, you can become a member for $1 per show. So, you know, $8 a month to support this show. Come on, get off your ass. Pull that wallet out. We need some money to help keep the show going. You know, so I'm hoping I'm wrong about all of that. I really am. I will be watching the Red Ice feed tomorrow to keep an eye on things. Understand this, everything that I mentioned on that show, people on the ground there have been informed of this. By me personally. Because while I don't agree with a lot of them, I don't want to see people dying either, and I don't want to see Antifa gain an inch of ground. Not 1 inch. Not 1 inch. Because at the end of the day, if they were to destroy all the people that are there at the Unite the Right rally, guess what? They keep coming. They're going to be in power. They're going to be emboldened. And they'll come after a new Nazi. They're going to be coming after your founding fathers. They're going to be coming after your Second Amendment, your Constitution, all those things. You know, talking about Second Amendment, let's go ahead and jump into this real quick. The wonderful Kamala Harris, she said, she posted a tweet about stopping bringing back the assault weapon ban. Yes, the assault weapon ban. Because we need the assault weapon ban to actually make us safer. Didn't you know that? Yeah, she's a Democrat from California. Geez, would somebody go ahead and just line charges along the side, along the border of California, and just separate it from the United States? I mean, let's be honest, guys. They want to secede? Let them secede. Let's help them. Let's run some charges there and just separate it from the United States. I mean, let's help them out. But she says Harris suggested public safety is her motivation. Yeah, I'm sure that's your motivation, dear. Which is strange when one considers that assault weapons are used so infrequently by criminals that the FBI reports nearly 3 times more people are stabbed to death than are killed with rifles of any kind and shotguns combined. Imagine that. You would never think that a Democrat would come out with a false statement regarding gun control to try and get their agenda through. Let me tell you something, lady. You know why people don't use assault weapons to kill people? Because it's tough to hide them. Okay? You know, contrary to popular belief, you don't have people walking around in trench coats. This isn't the Roaring 20s or some shit like that, where they're walking around with Thompson submachine guns underneath their trench coats and popping it out, blasting people. That's not the way it goes down. Okay, most of these guys are concealing shit. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, the last assault weapons ban was a complete, utter joke, because just in case you don't know, we're going to figure out. We are going to figure out a way to make it work. We're going to figure out a way. I remember the last assault weapons ban. There were so many things coming out already. Hell, California's already figuring out how to get around your little stupid bullet button and all these things. So, I mean, just keep it up, fucking Kamala Harris. Good luck. I'm going to tell you, good luck at getting that assault weapons ban through. I'm telling you. I mean, you guys have tried to get this thing through whenever they had the Sandy Hook issue, and you couldn't get it done with the Democratic president. Let me tell you something, bitch. You're not going to get it done underneath a Republican president, especially a guy like Trump. So, I'm going to ask my boy here at the end of the bar, hey, yeah, you. Come here, behind the mic real quick. I want you to tell everybody what you think about Kamala Harris running her mouth about the assault weapons ban. Do you want to see assault weapons gone? Tell my listeners here. Put your glass down. Tell my listeners what you want. If you had to tell Kamala Harris something right now, what would it be?
Shut up!
All right, buddy. Thanks for that little bit of sound bite. And I'm going to go ahead and get this guy another drink. Jesus Christ. All right, so just a couple more things I want to discuss here. I don't know if you guys heard. Did you guys hear about the Al-Qaeda? The Al-Qaeda, the latest targets that they're working on. But let's be honest. I mean, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, the lines are so blurred. Either way is certainly a creation of a failed regime change. Absolutely. But it says, Washington Times put that Al-Qaeda has drawn a bullseye on a new American target. Subway trains. Yes, Al-Qaeda is about to take on a new target. In the issue of, I forget their little book they have, their little magazine. It's an online magazine, which amazes me that they can absolutely track everything you do online, but somehow this magical magazine that talks about all these different terrorist activities just seems to be floating around out there, right? But in issue number 17 is headlined, Train Derail Operations, and will spell out ways to create rail disasters in a transportation system that lacks the stiff security procedures of airline travel. Its competing Sunni extremist groups, the Islamic State, for more than a year has advocated using vehicles to mow down innocents. Its murderous followers have weaponized vehicles in Nice, Berlin, and London, creating hundreds of deaths and injuries. Adding trains to the terrorist priority list would put at risk virtually every mode of transportation and placed added pressure on the U.S. Department of Defense. So, I mean, let's be honest here. Are we shocked? Are we shocked in the least bit? This is yet another enemy that we have yet to crush. This is an enemy that's been after us for a long, long time. And under the Obama administration, what was happening? The same thing was happening in Mexico with the Sinaloa cartel. If you hadn't heard about that, listen to my 2-part episode with Ed Calderon. Okay? That we were arming them. We armed these people. We trained these people. You know, the poor Syrian rebels? Yeah, that's ISIS. That's Al-Qaeda. ISIS, Al-Qaeda, you know, they're competing? What are they competing for? The Death Bowl? Death Bowl 2017? Who's gonna win? ISIS or Al-Qaeda? Guess what? The same owner owns both teams. I mean, you look at some of these caravans you see these guys riding in. Brand new vehicles. They got anti-aircraft weapons. You know, you look at all the shit that went down in Benghazi. Where do you think those weapons went? Why do you think so many people had to die? This should be common sense right now, but I mention these things to people and they're like, what? They don't even know. I mentioned something about Fast and Furious to a guy yesterday and he looked at me with a blank look on his face. And I'm like, no, I'm not talking about the movie. They had no clue. Most people don't realize that this shit's going on. And I've been saying it for a long time. In this day and age, you need to be armed. You need to be armed, and more than that, you need to be willing to take the life of any motherfucker you see that's willing to remove yours, especially some fucker from, some ISIS or Al-Qaeda sympathizer. I mean, let's just be honest here. I don't give a shit what they look like. I don't care if it's an adult male. I don't care if it's a female in a ninja suit. I don't care if it's a kid with a bomb strapped to him. They'll all get a bullet in the dome as far as I'm concerned. Plain and simple. There's no other way to handle this. I mean, yeah, they're going to make it to a point. They're going to get it to a point in this country that Americans aren't going to be able to go anywhere without being treated like terrorists. That's the goal. They're like, oh, they want to take our freedom. They're taking our freedom. Every single step forward they're doing here is removing freedom from American citizens. Every single step. Every time they set up a new checkpoint. Every time the TSA grabs you by the balls. Every time they grab your wife's breast. Every time they grope your child. Every single time you have to take nail clippers out of your carry-on. Every time that happens, the enemy's winning. Nobody is willing to pull the trigger and crush these people. We could end this easily. So keep your eyes out, guys. I mean, I'm going to be doing some traveling later this year, and I'm going to be going places where I'm not going to be able to actually carry my firearm. And I've already worked out some contingencies for that, so luckily I'm a craftsman. And I will probably be able, once I get on the ground, I will be able to craft something there that will actually work as a projectile weapon. Use your imagination there. But I also have other means on me as well that I'm pretty certain that I can either get through. If that becomes an issue, I already have contingency plans to acquire once I touch ground. So, there's always plans in place. I tell you guys, I'm a constant planner. So, keep your eyes peeled. I mean, really, right now, I think that the danger from Al-Qaeda and ISIS is actually, and this is just me looking at things as they are, is overshadowed by the danger from the communist left. Plain and simple. You worry about bombs going off caused by Al-Qaeda? Look to the history. Look to the Weather Underground. Look at what these people did. These are the same types of people we have today. And by gods, we're living in the information age. You don't think they can figure out how to do these things? Keep your eyes peeled constantly. Couple other issues real quick. I saw a couple local stories. I'm going to wrap this up, but I saw a couple local stories here that actually kind of I thought was pretty crazy. First of all, this actually isn't a local story. This is a DC story. But I saw where this article says, arrest made in stabbing murder of social justice activist Corina Mihail. I guess that's how you pronounce her name. And it says the guy that was the guy that actually let me see, I'm gonna read it here. It says Torre, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Torre was previously convicted of 2 counts of robbery in Bradley County, Tennessee. He was sentenced to 8 years but only served 1. Sentenced to 8 years and only served 1 year. Nice. Way to go, criminal justice system. Because he went in there for that 1 year and learned how to be a really good criminal, right? Police believe that Mikhail was tortured for her ATM PIN number. Torre then went to 7 ATM machines and withdrew a total of $4,000. I'm going to read you this wonderful American citizen's name. El Haji Alpha Madua Torre, 28. Yeah, that's a mouthful. Say that with some peanut butter in your mouth. 28 has been charged with first-degree murder for tying up Karina Mikhail and stabbing her to death. Torre was arrested on Monday in a different jurisdiction and held on an outstanding Tennessee warrant. Oh, wait a minute. You mean to tell me he committed a crime after his 1 year in prison? Tips from the public helped track him down. This morning, he was transferred to the custody of Washington, D.C. police and charged with murder. Mikhail's stolen car had already been recovered by D.C. police. And just in case you didn't know, this individual, I'm looking at the guy here in the picture. He doesn't look like an Islamic individual. He looks like he's probably a refugee. They were asked about his refugee status and they said no comment. But he looks like he could be like a Somali individual. Somali gangs, everybody talks about the Islamic threat. Somali refugees are a big fucking danger that a lot of people aren't willing to recognize. But this individual, why was he still here? Right? Because why is he still here? Why? The biggest question I have, even if you get beyond the whole why was he still here issue, why exactly was this individual released? He's supposed to serve an eight-year term, released after 1 year. Oh, for good behavior? No, he come out the same monster as he was before. When are people going to learn that when you've got people convicted of armed robbery and they've already shown a willingness to kill, to just going to release him out into the world? And what are they going to do with this guy? They're probably going to take him and toss him in prison. He'll go into a nice little cush prison there, nice federal, probably a federal facility or something like that. They'll toss him in a nice little cush prison. He'll have 3 meals a day. He'll get some rec time outside, lift some weights. He might find him a boyfriend or something. Who knows? He'll get further into that Islamic religion. He'll learn a lot more about what it means to be a criminal, and he'll live a nice little life behind bars, taken care of by you and I. That's the reality of the situation. And this little SJW girl that got killed, I hate to tell you, lady, I feel sorry for you, but everything that you lived for in life was volunteering for this end. I mean, I hate to say that in your last days that reality, you met reality. You met the reality of the monsters that you support. Oh, well, Odinson, not all refugees are bad. You got time to sort them out? I'll wait. I'll wait.